What's up, everybody? Welcome to Exploring the Ka. My name is Rock Castaldo. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Or morning, or wherever it is, whatever time it is, wherever you are right now. Now, this is one church that I did feature a couple of years ago in a quick video. I thought it would be cool as I was driving by to stop here. This is the last church in my county outside of New York City. I'm not sure if Westchester County has any, but this is the last church in my county to have gargoyles on them, and we're gonna go closer to them in a minute. But you could see the gargoyles that are mounted on each corner there of that tower, almost similar to the ones that are on Notre Dame. Very interesting. And I'm going to be, besides having my radio show on Truth Frequency Radio and my Patreon, which I put daily information on. Yesterday I posted about 6 different articles on my Patreon with all of this type of information. I'm going to be starting a show, Exploring the Ka, right here on YouTube through StreamYard. And I'll be having guests on video as well, like Gary Wayne and other people, where we're going to be discussing bloodlines, the dragon bloodlines, the bloodlines of the Nephilim, the rise of the goddess, and how this is all related to this time of we're living in right now. I do believe the coronavirus is related to the coronation of the Virgin Mary, and what they talk about in Revelation with the crowning of the Queen of Heaven. If you look, and I was talking about this on my Patreon yesterday, last night I posted about this. If you look in history, massive events that had to do with the Virgin Mary in some capacity, and now we have we have different aspects of the Virgin in different localities. Like we have the Fatima Virgin of Fatima, right? And we also have the Virgin of Guadalupe, and then we have other places that are not as well known, maybe because it happened more recently, but in Zaytun, Egypt. I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with the sighting and the event that happened in Zaytun, Egypt. I believe in the 1960s it was, maybe in the late 1960s, which was during the time of Vatican II, during the time of a whole resurgence of witchcraft and paganism and Satanism, rise of Satanism all over the world. In Zaytun, Egypt, the Virgin Mary, they say it was the Virgin, but it could have been Isis. It could have been this same bloodline that we're talking about that appeared over a church outside of Cairo in Zaytun, Egypt. And it almost was like some sort of, what's it called? Like, let me see if I can get closer in. It was almost like it was some sort of like holographic technology, the way this 10-foot Virgin Mary appeared over a church in Zaytun, Egypt, and people in the crowd were trembling as she, and people described it as the woman that was hovering, dressed in white and blue, over the church. It seemed like everybody in the crowd, that she was looking each one of them in the eyes individually when they would look at her. People were describing it like that, even though there was a crowd of thousands of people in front, so much that people were starting to get trampled. It seemed to each individual that she was looking them, each person individually in the eyes, and she appeared several times over that church. Now I think they only have, is it 1 or 2 horns on these gargoyles here? These gargoyles are pretty wicked looking. So gargoyles are another mysterious subject because, first of all, they are not myth. I've seen very similar beings in the astral. Very, very similar. They're all look different and have different expressions on. Supposedly, the expressions will chase away the evil. And you see how they're used to protect churches. They're some sort of hybrid creature like the cherubim. Winged hybrid. And, people talk about, even the ancients believe that if you walk by a gargoyle on a church and you just pay it respects by bowing your head to him, then they will return the favor and pay you respects. Good day, my friend. We bow the head. I know they were going to remove... Oh, that's a good view of that right there. Look at that one. Gargoyles and goblins are really embedded in the lore of ancient Italy as well. And it's interesting that they have them around the towers of churches here, like you see here, because they live inside of towers and haunt towers. The famous Tower of the Bargello in Florence is one that comes to mind that I've talked about before on my Patreon and other places. The old Tower of the Bargello in Florence, Italy, has rumors of a goblin that lives in that tower, and at one time that thing is massive too. At one time it was a prison for Florence, and it was rumored that the Red Goblin haunts that prison and would make guilty prisoners commit suicide, and people that were unjustly imprisoned, it would find them a way to get free. And you could see it's almost like a cherubim face here as well, and a little angelic face. That's very interesting. In some Dead Sea Scroll documents, the cherubim are described as the smaller faces. That's a way of them describing them and talking about them, is another name for them. They call them the smaller faces, which is very interesting. And they are depicted as having a very small face on a bigger body with wings, like a sphinx. Like even like an Assyrian sphinx. And I know this is not the best of neighborhoods here, so that's probably why they have all the glass windows protected like that. But this is a very quiet and mysterious church. And I mean, the gargoyles are badass. And of course, there's the whole topic of gargoyles being astral familiars. I don't know if you're just joining us, Isaac, but you could see how badass these gargoyles are. But this church never has a lot of people here. I know there's caretakers. It's interesting too, because look at the pastors right here. Their name is the Adonai, the center of the Adonai Christians, and they have like the fighting tiger. They're a Trinity, the Holy Trinity, the Trinity Episcopal Church. Yeah, thing or garden. And you know, it always makes me wonder what kind of church it is that has a black and red door, almost like it's the gate of hell. You know what I'm saying? But this is an amazing place. Very old. I really would like to see what kind of windows are on there. They might even be covering up what's actually being portrayed in the scenes on the windows. But the whole topic of, you know, gargoyles or goblins being astral familiars, you can send them into dimensions to be some sort of familiar to do your bidding. And I think that's where the line is drawn when we ask a question to ourselves if these beings are monsters or protectors. And I think that if you acknowledge they exist and you pay them respects, they're sort of like a protector. But once you form the contract of looking for them to be doing you favors, that's when the line is drawn and there's no turning back. Because that's when the relationship can go any sort of way. And you never would know how they wow, look at the art on that. How they expect to get paid in return for their favors. And the more you would use the powers of these creatures, the more their very being, their very DNA in a way, gets embedded and entangled within yours. And it becomes almost like an obsessive relationship. Like an obsessive lover. Even these doors, they're red and black. But they are really badass. You know, you could see it even like the dinosaur type feet. They are like a cherubim type hybrid. And I mean, it comes from French word, the gargoyle. And I think the term actually means like throat, or that gurgling sound that comes down the throat, which some say has to do with the sound the rainwater comes down, because it's not just to scare away evil, it's used for rainwater as well, like a rainwater drip down off of it. But I have seen creatures like this of all sizes in, if you want to call it, hyperspace. And the other night I was having weird visions when I closed my eyes. Out of the black, I was getting the outlines of different people doing different things, and I saw this big heavy set lady getting in between two other little kids, I guess. They were arguing. And then there was all these ghostly figures surrounding them. See, back here is like a swamp too behind there. I always wondered, like, what the hell's going back there? They own all that property, I'm sure. But no one goes back there. Yeah, those gargoyles are pretty freaking badass. And they had to fight to keep them protected. People wanted to take them down. I had talked to the guy, the caretaker here a couple of years ago, outside. What's up? What's up, Roof? Aphrodite. Mike. Who else is out there? You know, the topic I've been covering a lot lately, of course, for many years, that leads to the Nephilim and the fallen angels. And we are like billions of people that have exploded and are pieces of the past. We have all of this information embedded within us of this ancient creatures, and the more we get dumbed down by modern technology and everything that's killing us and who we are, the more we forget our higher dimensional existence. You want me to get a look at our crucifix? You know, there's also talk about flying serpents that once chased away the cynocephaly. And in the area of Libya and all those areas, the cynocephaly were supposedly dog-like, dogmen type creatures. And these flying serpents came from like another dimension. And they would hang around a certain tree. I think it was like a certain tree that makes frankincense or something. Let me see if I can get a good shot of the across from the other side. I think this is the back end of it, I think, for some reason. But you can see just in the shield of their symbol with the lion and see, this window right here is not, it's not really protected. Looks like that's Jesus. Oh wait, what is this? Oh shit, do you see what this window is? Damn, I gotta take screenshots of this later. Dude, that top too has like an eye on it at the very top. The very top of it has the eye. And it's, you could see like the serpents going, two serpents twining together over here, going up. And it looks like there's like a pyramid type thing over Jesus' head. I don't know if that's a Mary. I wonder if there's what's in that top tower too. I don't know if there's a bell up there or nothing. Let's see if I could go. I'll go around real quick. In my car, the radio on over there too. See, look at the shield too. There's 9 crosses, I think, because the middle one's used twice. Yeah, those gargoyles are crazy. Yeah, see the cross? I think it's just either all gray, it's faded out. That's weird because those blinds were not there a minute ago. I don't think they were, at least. I don't think those were either. Yeah, it's been popping off with the riots everywhere. There's no stores on this street, though. People were protesting around here, but they weren't getting violent. Oh, shit. See, they do have little cherubim here type faces, too, I didn't see. Look at this. Right there. On the corner here. See that little face? And another one on the other side. And then the big one in the middle, up top. And it's very interesting. Even in the most recent book you could find that has been published, found with the Dead Sea Scrolls, is the Book of Lamech of Cain. And shout out to my buddy, the author, Mr. Demon, who you can find on Twitter as well. Him and some other scholars, some of the Catholic priests as well, have helped to release some of the findings with the Dead Sea Scrolls. And some of the best translations of the Ugaritic writings of these books. Very ancient. And one of them, of course, was the Lost Book of King Og. And the other one is the Book of Lamech of Cain. And in the Book of Lamech of Cain, they talk about the cherubim as the smaller faces. And they're also talked about like this in Zohar and the Midrash. And a lot of the Zoharic tales and tales from Kabbalistic material, you'll see the cherubim referred to as the ones with the smaller faces, or the smaller faces. And it's interesting that you have those smaller faces type beings, and here these winged type hybrid creatures here, the gargoyles. Tales from the Crypt. You know, I talked about it the other day about the movie Rawhead Rex, the remastered version. They remastered it. It's a movie from the 80s, and it has a Nephilim type creature that gets awoken that has to do with a church. This like red glowing red-eyed beast, giant devil that is linked to a church, and it's I don't want to give away the rest, but you guys got to check that out. What's up, Isaac? Yes. Yeah, Rawhead Rex. That's by Clive Barker. Clive Barker made the movie Nightbreed too. He even has a cameo in the movie Sleepwalkers. And I collected comics by Clive Barker with the Nightbreed, and you know, he's famous for Hellraiser and shit, but yeah, that movie was pretty dope. The older, I mean, some people think it's old and corny, but I like those movies, some of them. Same with the movie, oh man, the Moon of the Wolf or something, I forget who. What's it? They talk about the Rougarou, where the guy turns into the friggin' werewolf. My mom used to always watch that movie. That's a dope movie too. The Rougarou. Alright, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I will try to be live again later. Like I said, I just got the StreamYard, so I can now host people on YouTube. Like, do a radio show on there like I'm doing on, yeah, Nightbreed. They're Nightbreed. We're Nightbreed. But I thought it would be cool to show these gargoyles real quick. And they are very similar to some of the ones that are on Catholic churches. I think it's the Church of Siena has them as well. A lot of them have. I mean, of course, the French cathedrals, Notre Dame. I've covered so much material about the rose portal windows of all those cathedrals in France, the Notre Dame cathedrals, because there's a whole bunch of them. There's not just a Notre Dame. There's a whole buttload of cathedrals there that they used ancient Persian mathematicians to make the type of windows that you would need the heat of like an asteroid that can like turn material into glass, like sand into glass. That's what type of windows they used. That's what type of glass that they have in those windows. So they use some otherworldly knowledge that we don't have today to make those French cathedrals. And a lot of them have been replaced. A lot of them are not the original ones because they've been taken out and they're used somewhere else. Durr. Yo. I know that guy. I also am looking to, once I get my set up in my own place too, it would be a lot easier to start a combat sports talk. I might start a whole new YouTube channel, a separate one with that, and my buddy Ray Fernandez is gonna help me out with that, but I could also have other people and other guests on there. I know a lot of people in the Muay Thai kickboxing community, and it tends to blend in with the MMA community, so I shouldn't have a problem getting guests. Thank you guys for joining us today, and Spiral out.